Just to bring you up to speed, if you've just tuned in, the dates are announced for the 5 states that are going to go to polls this winter. You have 679 seats that are at stake between these 5 states. The big date is the verdict day. It's going to be on 3rd December. In the first week of December, you will get the results for Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Mizoram, and Chhattisgarh, of course. Let's break down which state goes to polls when. It starts off with Chhattisgarh, of course, which goes to polls in 2 phases. The first one is on the 7th of November and the second one is on the 17th of November, which means that Chhattisgarh alone in this round will go to polls in 2 phases, presumably because of the left-wing extremism issue there and the rotation of paramilitary forces. Then you have Madhya Pradesh, which goes to polls on the 17th of November, all 230 constituencies in one single phase. Rajasthan goes to polls on the 23rd of November, again, all 200 constituencies in one single phase. Telangana will be the last state to go to polls on the 30th of November. All 117 seats will go to polls on one phase, that's the 30th of November. And finally, counting day is the 3rd of December. We're now getting a first reaction from the Congress party, and the Congress president, Mallikarjun Kharge, has now just put out his reaction on the poll dates on the social media handle of his. The poll dates have been announced by the Election Commission. Mr. Kharge has just posted, Congress will go to the people with strength, is what Mr. Kharge has said. He's also gone on to add that the Congress will be in a winning position in these North Indian states, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. It'll be the farewell of the BJP is how Mr. Kharge has characterized this. Let me now go across to Pallavi Ghosh if I can. Pallavi Ghosh, so all right, we have our guests. Let's go across to them first. We have Sanjeev Srivastav, Arun Anand is also joining us, and of course Javed Ansari is there with us as well. Sanjeev, let me start with you first. So the dates are more or less straightforward. Chhattisgarh 7th and 17th, Madhya Pradesh 17th, Rajasthan 23rd and Telangana 30th. No surprises there in terms of the phasing of these elections?
Well, the only surprise, if you can call it a surprise, is that last time, if I remember, in 2018, the counting was on 11 December. So everything is a little preponed, if you may, by a week or so. But that's fine. It's a very crucial election, so the sooner the better. The election is happening. The results, I've been hearing everyone, yes, there is a lot of difference between state and national elections. But remember 2018, after the state election results came, there was a lot of talk about BJP being a little defensive, a little iffy, this, that, and then Pulwama happened. So that was a kind of a game changer. So while we talk about this segregation of the 2 elections and also the very fact that Mr. Modi himself brings a lot on the table when a national election is held, not in the state. But unless some big ticket event happens between the state assembly elections and the national elections, you just can't write off that the state assembly elections are different ball game, and so it will not have much of an impact on the national elections. It does have a psychological impact. It does boost the moral and conversely punctures the moral a little bit of whoever wins and loses. So it is a very crucial election. And
no, but you know, the reason why we brought that, not just the 2018 and 2019 connection, but let me ask this to Arun Anand and Javed Ansari as well. You go all the way back, 2013-14, the BJP won both in Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh, and of course in Chhattisgarh as well. And of course in 2014, there was the big Modi wave. But you go back to 2008, the Congress won in Rajasthan and the UPA won the 2009 general election, but the Congress lost both in Madhya Pradesh and in Chhattisgarh, and the UPA still managed to come to power. So, you know, you go back 20 years and you see this sort of pattern, if you will, that the way the state goes does not necessarily be the way in which the country goes 6 months later when the Lok Sabha election happens. So let me ask Arun Anand that. Even if the BJP is on a sticky wicket, and presumably it is, particularly in Madhya Pradesh, maybe even in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, they're hoping that it will repeat the pattern that we're seeing for the last 25 years, that alternately there will be Congress and then BJP, Congress and then BJP. But even if the BJP is on a sticky wicket for this winter elections, Arun Anand, does that necessarily mean you can extrapolate that to the 2024 general?
Zaka, I don't think no you can. I think there's a decoupling of assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections which has happened, and the reason is largely because earlier the assembly elections used to impact to some extent the Lok Sabha elections also. Especially many people have termed it as a semi-final, but that was a time when you didn't had a towering leader like or a mass leader like Narendra Modi. So when you don't have a mass leader when you don't have a mass leader at the helm of affairs at the center, then the assembly elections do tend to influence, but the Lok Sabha polls also. But I think because Narendra Modi, the kind of stature he has attained and the kind of popularity he has, so the even if BJP wins elections, these assembly elections or some of these states, so I think that doesn't matter beyond a point. The assembly, and now it's a well-established fact that the assemblies election people are voting differently in assembly elections and people are voting differently in Lok Sabha elections.
Okay.
And I think Narendra Modi continues to be an X factor, so I don't think it's going to impact much.
Rahul wanted to make a point. I think it's a fair thing that Arun was saying, that when Mr. Modi is on the ticket, it's a different ballgame.
Exactly, because you look at the outcome in 2019, the BJP got its best ever tally, but Maharashtra was up for grabs. Delhi had no resonance in the assembly elections in both Maharashtra and Delhi. That was all within a 6-month, 8-month period. So what I'm trying to suggest here is not so much really when I talked about, Mahal and Hawa. I think for the Congress, this is a very crucial examination. It's an examination of its coherence ideologically and the new plank that it is actually putting forth, which is the caste survey plank, which suggests that, look, we are the party that actually defends the interests of all of those who have been continuously let down by the political establishment, whichever that might be. Secondly, we also have a leader who can take on Mr. Modi. He also has a direct connect with the people. Look at the Bharat Jodo that he has been able to institute and the message that goes with it. The Congress has positioned itself as a liberal democratic option to what many consider is a more exclusivist narrative that the BJP puts out. Though the BJP will never admit to that, it always says that, look, we are the party that carries everyone along, sabka saath, sabka vikas. But the way the Congress has approached this entire election is by suggesting that, no, the BJP represents only a very slim bunch of people in this country, and it is generally an exclusivist party that divides the country. The Congress's message, if it actually strikes a chord, there will be problems for the BJP in 2024. If it doesn't, then there is a complete decoupling of this particular result from what is going to happen.
But Javed Ansari, the other factor, and I think Pallavi Ghosh had also mentioned this earlier on in the program, for the Congress is absolutely essential to win these elections and win them big, because they're